back to my channel. Welcome to a new video. Please ignore my makeup. I feel like I've just done it completely wrong and I just couldn't be bothered to try again and take it all off. Literally gonna take it off, take photos and take it off afterwards, so please just ignore how bad it is. Anyway, before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe. I would love it if you did, and if you could follow my social medias in the description, or something, it should pop up somewhere in the video as well. Would be very entirely grateful. I'm really trying to grow my Instagram this year, and I'm like halfway to 1,000, and I would really love to get to 1,000 by the end of 2021, so I'd love if you could follow that. And without further ado, let's just get on with the video, because I feel like I could talk for a while, but also I do want to take this makeup off because I feel like I've just done so much, but I don't really care because I enjoyed doing it, and I was singing along to Panic at the Disco whilst doing it. But this video is a video that I kind of just thought at the whim of something, and basically when you're young you have these expectations of where you should be at a certain age and where your life should be, and where you should be in life at a certain age, and then you get to that age and those expectations haven't been filled. And I think what I'm trying, the whole point of this video is to try to make a point to you guys that it's okay to have, when you're young you have these expectations, but it is perfectly normal and fine that you haven't achieved them by this age, because especially the expectations that I have written down are expectations I think not just I had, but a lot of people had or have at a young age, but they're kind of like the ones that are stereotypical ones you should have at a certain age. The expectations that you should have in things that expectations of things that you should have sorted out in life, because everyone puts that pressure on you when you're young that you should have these things figured out by this point and you should be in this point at this point. So it's okay that you have these expectations because it's kind of been driven into you, especially when I was younger. Like, I don't know what it's like for kids these days, because I am not a kid these days anymore. But it's also perfectly normal not to have these things at this age. Like, everything I've written down are things I do not have. And I'm 25, and these are expectations that I had for myself when I was younger that I should have by the age of 25. So that is why I'm doing it, because I've just turned 25 and I feel like a lot of all these things I had expectations about when I was probably a teenager, and I thought I'd have my life sorted by now, and I really don't. So I'm just gonna have a sip of my drink because talking. I was gonna open my blind, but I just feel like this sun will be too bright. So my first one is and maybe it's not something that everyone has the expectation of what they're going to have planned at 25. And when I say this, I do mean like, but I feel like a lot of people have expectations that they'll at least be with someone at 25. And I think I put down married, but I'm more for, like, at 25 I had expectations that I'd either be with someone I'm going to spend the rest of my life with anyway, or be engaged, or technically be married. And I had those expectations from a young age, and for ages I put pressure on that. I was like, why am I still single? Why am I not with someone? Why are all my friends getting with someone? Like, I got a lot of friends who are my age, who are married, engaged, or got kids. And I used to believe that, what, is there something wrong with me because everyone else is having that and I am still single? Nowhere near the idea of getting engaged, nowhere near the idea of being married to someone. And honestly, I put that so much pressure on myself about it and got myself so down about being single for a long, long time. And then I probably got to about 23, 24, realising actually this is normal, but it is a normal thing to be single at this age. You don't have to, just because your friends are in relationships, just because your friends are engaged, just because your friends are getting married, doesn't mean that's something you need. Like, one day it will happen for you, it's just not going to happen at the time when you expect it. And I think it is definitely an expectation that a lot of people put on you because it's all around you, and a lot of people are settling down, a lot of people are planning to have a future with this person they're with, and you could just be sitting around your room working in a retail shop and not in love with someone and thinking, well, why, if they can get it, why can't I? But really it's just the right person will come along at the right time. As cliche as it sounds, it will happen when the time is right. I am still nowhere near getting engaged or not even in a relationship yet. I'm not even talking to anyone at the moment. I am very much single and really happy being single, and not, the thing is, I'm not even talking to anyone because I don't want to try and talk to anyone. I went on Tinder like the last few days, and every time I go on it I'm just like, this is just so boring, I don't want to be on it right now. Partly because obviously you can't do anything, we can't really meet anyone, so that's the reason right now. Like, you can't meet anyone. If you start talking to someone, you get like, you can try and make a conversation last for however long lockdown's gonna go on for, and then cut it down, and then talk to them and meet up. But it's sometimes doesn't always work out. And you never know, I might be on Tinder tomorrow and actually have a conversation with someone, but you just don't know. My next one kind of ties on with this, is that when I was young, I had the expectation that by 25 I would either be a mum right now, or maybe be pregnant right now, or be planning to have kids in the next few years. I used to have this idea that I wanted to have my first kid by 26. Obviously, that is not going to happen anytime. By the time I'm 26, I'm 26 next year, and I do not plan to be having. I do not plan to find a guy, get married, and I don't really care about having a kid before marriage. But I do care about the idea that I don't want to be just with a guy for maybe 5 months, get pregnant with his kid, then we break up. That's not what I want. So, ideally, I doubt I do not see myself pregnant or having a kid. I just dribbled. That is actually gross. Oh. I do not see myself, like, this is why I'm single, isn't it? I do not see myself planning to have a kid by the time I'm 26 next year, so, but I did put myself in the expectations that that's what I was going to be like. You know, I have friends who've had kids, or when I say friends, people that I know who have had kids, you know, at my age, like when they were, who are the same age as me now, but they've had kids when they were a bit younger. And then my best friend has a kid, and I'm like, that's the closest I'm going to get. He's the cutest kid ever, and he's my godson, and I love him. And I'm happy with that, but because I'm not ready to be a mum, like, I honestly don't think I could do it. I think if someone was to put a kid with me now and said, you've got to look after it for a month, I would be like, the kid probably would, as harsh as it sounds, the kid probably would die. Because I just wouldn't know what I would be doing. It'd be too stressful for me. I could barely deal with my uni work stress, let alone another person's life. Like, it is okay to have those expectations. You're gonna make it, but like, you can't put an age on when you're gonna have a kid, because you never know what could happen. And when the time is right, the time is right. And I think you would know when the time is right. My next one is, and this is definitely something everyone puts pressure on a young person, to have their life figured out and know what they want to do in a career-wise. By the age of 25, you're expected to know what you want to do in a career. You're expected to either be in that career or working towards getting in that career. Now, I kind of know what career I want to go into, but I'm still a little bit unsure. But I know I want to do something to do with marketing, and digital marketing specifically. Would love to do social media marketing, but unsure at the moment. But, like, you know, at 25 you're expected to have your whole life sorted out with the idea of what career you want. Your parents put the pressure on you, family members go, okay, so what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do that? Why are you doing this? Like, they expect you to know what you want, especially like when you get out of your degree, or when you get out of school, they expect you just to know. And it takes me back to that famous Twilight eclipse, that's from the Twilight Saga, the famous speech saying, what's her name? I wanted to say Becca, but that's her name in Pitch Perfect. Jessica says about, this is your time to make mistakes over and over again. Like, you don't know what you want, and it is true. Like, you don't have to have your life planned by 25 just because that is the stereotypical side of what you should have sorted out by 25, is that you should have your dream career, you should be in your dream career, or you should be working in a career you really want to be in. When really, that's not always the case. Like, sometimes some people get lucky that they're working in their dream career straight after uni, or they started their own business as a dream career when they wanted to, and that's fine. But just because they did doesn't mean you have to. This is the thing that the world puts the pressure on you, is that you see people getting into it and you're like, why am I not there? I remember before I came to uni, I saw a lot of people, oh my god, I've got so much hair on me, this is gross. So many people getting their dream jobs, like people getting into drama school, and I was like, that used to be what I wanted to do so bad. People getting in their dream careers, and there was me like going nowhere. Literally, I was like, nothing, and I was getting like very jealous. Like, I expected to have my life sorted out, knowing exactly what I wanted by the age of 20. When at that point, I was like 21 at that point, and I didn't know I was 20, and I didn't know what I wanted, and I thought I did. And honestly, it's quite normal, because you get that expectations when you see people get their dream jobs or their dream like unis and their dream careers sorted out, or they're planning their life and they know what they want and they're in their career that they want for the rest of their life. and then you're just stuck in a retail job. Like, I'm not saying retail's bad. Like, if you're in a retail job and that's what you enjoy, then that's fair. But if you don't enjoy retail and you're stuck there, it's kind of different. Like, I'm stuck in a retail job at the moment, but it helps me pay the bills. It helps me pay for things I want, and I'm not saying I'd change it, because I do enjoy my job in a way, because I've got my friends there. I'm getting experience in so many things. Like, it's nothing bad about it. It is just that, obviously, I don't want to be stuck in retail. It's not my dream career, and that's not what I plan to be. But it is okay to not be in your dream career at 25. You've got time to make your dream career come true. You just got to work for it, and I think that's the difference. When your family members are telling you, when they were younger, it was like quite easy to get a job compared to now. So for them, they don't really see it when they say to you, "Oh, why are you not doing that right now?" I'm like, well, it's because I'm not getting it. Like, I didn't have a job for 2 years when I left school. For 2 years of the time I was out of school when I was in college, I didn't have a job, and everyone was telling me, just go get a job, just hand your CV in. And I was like, if it was that easy, I'd have a job by now. I'd handed my CV in, like, everywhere, and no, I had nothing. I had not even had one interview. It was all thanks to my friend's mum, who called me, messaged me saying, do you still need a job because there's one going on Tuesday? And I was like, yeah, sure, I do. And then I went in for an interview on the Tuesday, and then I got offered the job straight there and then. And I was very lucky, because that was my first ever interview in my life. I hadn't got any GCSE grades at grade C. I didn't have my maths and English GCSE grades at all, because I failed them at school. And I had never had an interview before, so I was just there trying to be as, as good as possible in the interview to get a job. So I think I'm going to sneeze, so I'm just going to grab my tissue, just in case. I tried my hardest to get that job, and I got it somehow, straight away. And that's how I got into retail, but that was like 2 years after, but it took me ages to get that job. And I was like, again, that was just out of luck. So it is okay. You might have those expectations given to you from your family, friend members, your friends, the world, but it's okay not to have your dream career sorted out at the age of 25 or the age of 21 or the age of 19. Like, you don't have to have your life sorted as soon as you come out of school, or as soon as you come out of A-levels, or as soon as you come out of uni. Like, uni gives you life skills, yes, but it doesn't mean you have to have your life sorted out when you come out of it. Like, just don't think that you have to be all sorted out and ready for your new life. Which leads me on to my next one, is I used to have the expectations that I would be living on my own at the age of 25, and I'm not saying I don't live on my own. I live with 3 other people, so that's not living on my own. I'm living away from family, yes, but that's because of uni. But once uni's over, I'm back to square one. I'm back home with my parents. I'm not living away from home straight away. So, like, at a young age, you're very much driven to believe that when you get to a certain age, you should be out of the house. You shouldn't be living with your parents. You should be on your own, making it away. And like I said, uni gives you the life skills to understand what it's like living away from home. But there's so much differences when you get out of uni and living away in home on your own compared to when you're living away from home from uni. Uni houses, I'll tell you something, I'm going to have a whole video about this at some point, but uni houses are so different to normal houses because you don't have to pay council tax. You literally don't have to do, it's stressful finding a uni house. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a lot easier than finding a place to live on your own as a normal adult who's just working. Obviously, student houses is cheaper. It's also cheaper because you're living with some people. If you wanna have like housemates, then fine. It might be cheaper for you to find a place. But if you're looking for a place to be just you on your own, and no one else in the house, and just literally that you have like a 1-bed flat, and it's not a flat share or anything, obviously it's going to be a bit more expensive. So you've got to be making sure you have that money, and it's a lot harder. You don't get given a government loan for to live there. Like student loan, you get the maintenance loan. So if you're lucky like I was to have the higher maintenance loan, you could pay your rent out of that, and you didn't need to worry about having a job on the side. Like, I have a job on the side now partly because my master's loan will not cover me for like food and bills. My master's loan pays my rent and my tuition. But before, I had my maintenance loan could just pay my rent, and if I was good with my money, that money could last me the whole time. It never did because I was really bad with money, but it could have done. But I always expected that I would be living away from home, living away from my family, and I know that it looks like I am, because technically I am, but I'm not going to be for like my age of 25. I moved back home in June and that's it. And it's okay to not have that sorted out because living away from home is expensive. and especially in the current climate, having money is a lot harder than it would have been before COVID. But even before COVID, it's still hard. Like, it's not easy just to say, I'm going to have a job with this amount of money coming in monthly. It's a lot harder than you think. I came out of college and I tried to get this job that was £1,500 a month. I didn't get it. I didn't get past the testing process. So it's just saying that things are not always, they don't always live up to their expectations. So don't worry if you don't live away from home at the age of 25. It's totally normal. My next one is know how to drive. So I expected by 25 I would know how to drive. I knew I wouldn't have done it straight at 17 because I didn't have the money for lessons, didn't have the money for a car. My parents couldn't help me pay for it, so there was no point of doing it back then. And I didn't need a car because everything I needed, like college was like a walk away from me, town was a walk away from me. When I eventually got a job, my job was a walk away from me, my volunteering job was a walk away from me, I didn't need to drive anywhere. The only time I'd end up being in a car was when my friend picks me up and we would go for drives. I didn't need a car for anything. If I wanted to go to Croydon or Crawley or somewhere like a shopping place, you just need to get on a bus or a train and I'd be there. I didn't need to pay for petrol and drive, and so I didn't learn to drive. Now obviously I want to know how to drive, but I thought by 25 I would probably be driving, I'd have a car and I'd be driving. That didn't happen. I obviously then came to uni later than planned, and then I didn't need a car at uni, so I just never learnt to drive. So, but again, everyone puts the pressure that you should know how to drive. Like, it's an independent thing, and obviously driving would be amazing. Once you can drive, you're free. But like, I understand why people put the pressure on you for having it, so you can have your independence. But it's not easy. Like, driving is expensive. Everything that you get put expectations on usually is expensive. Like, kids are expensive, weddings are expensive, going on dates can be expensive. The only one's not that expensive is getting a career because that'll be paying you. But like, knowing how to drive is expensive. You've got to pay for your lessons, you've got to pay for your theory, you've got to pay for your provisional. Like, luckily my provisional's not that expensive, but it's still quite expensive. It's still money. And then you've got to pay for the car, which is expensive, and then you've got to pay for petrol, which is expensive. Like, all of that adds up, and if you're not having a good income, there's no why is there a point in learning to drive? Because that's just, your money goes on the petrol, your money goes on the car, and if you have any damages to the car or anything that is fixed to the car, then you've got to pay for that, and then you've got to pay for car insurance. It is an expensive thing to have, that if you're not going to earn enough money to do all that, there is no point of having a car, and there's no point of learning to drive. Next one is, I expected by 25 I'd have a lot of money in my savings. I am 25 and I literally have £100 in my savings, but that's what I just put in on Friday. So yeah, that's an expectation that I would have always hoped I would learn by now to save. I was doing well in I was doing well in the first lockdown at saving. Like, I had quite a lot in my savings compared to what I usually would have, and then I spent it all. And so now I'm working on my savings again, but I expected by this time I'd have like a lot of my money in my savings. I would be prepared for like situations like moving out and other things, but clearly I wasn't. And my final life expectation I expected to have sorted by the time I'm 25 is I expected to have my life sorted out, and that my life would be all sorted, I would be happy in my life. Let's just say that will never happen. I don't think that's an expectation. It's an expectation that you cannot have, because as much as you want to have it, it's an expectation you can't, because life changes so quickly all the time. And especially, I think, if people have taken anything from 2020, you can have all your plans sorted out for your life that year, and then it literally just got taken away from you because of COVID. So if you think about it, life expectations having your life sorted is an expectation you probably shouldn't have, because so many things come to change it, and it basically sucks when it does. So yeah, I did expect to have my life sorted out by 25, but then probably when I was like uni, I started to realise you can never have your life sorted out, because life changes over and over again very quickly. Because I told myself I was never going to uni. A year later I was at uni, so kind of just shows. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. That's the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe and follow my social medias, and I will see you again next week with another video.